Okay, so hello everybody. We are here today to talk about some very simple holiday bin organization. I know for a lot of people, organizing things into bins for holidays can seem second nature, but for others, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. So this video just is some basic do's and don'ts that I find helpful for my own holiday organization. I'd say for the first do use just paper, Sharpies, and tape to label your bins. Don't write on the bin directly with a Sharpie because you might end up using that bin for something else in the future. And then you have to cross it out or try to use a magic eraser and it uses more time that you could be using for something else. Another don't I would do is don't use a label maker. I know this is not a popular opinion at times, but the thing about a label maker, as you can see, these are labeled bin 2 of 3, 3 of 3, 1 of 3. And the thing about a label maker is if I've labeled these all, but then I end up adding a fourth Christmas bin, I'm going to need to remove all of those labels and retype them. That's using supplies and money. Whereas I could just take a piece of scrap paper, make some quick labels, and stick them on the bins. More of the do's and don'ts that I find is make sure you do find bins that fit into the entry space you need them to go in. Nothing is worse than buying a very large bin, filling it up, and then finding that it does not fit in the attic opening that you have chosen, or it does not fit through the narrow doorway or the basement stairway or wherever it is you store your bins. You then have spent that money on the bin, you have used up the time to fill the bin, and you've got to start from scratch. But then on top of that, I'd say make sure you don't squish items into bins as well. Say you only have a small opening and you don't have a bin that's big enough to fit the item that you need. This Christmas wreath up here is an example of that. This Christmas wreath does not fit in any standard size bin. It also does not fit in any standard size wreath box. I've also tried our garbage bags that we use just to keep the dust off of it, but it does not fit in there either. So I find what works best for me each year is leaving it unwrapped, and then I can just use a blow dryer to blow the dust off of it before the season begins. It's better than ending up with everything squished into one box. Make sure that that the labels on your boxes face the side that you'll see in your storage space. So I don't spend the time labeling every side of my boxes. I don't label all 4 sides plus the lids. That's time that I'm not going to get back. So instead, I just label the side that will be facing outward. This saves me time, but it still allows me to be able to quickly find the boxes when I'm looking for them. Another big tip I have, as we already discussed a little bit, is labeling how many you have of each bin. So do put how many you have. So for example, we have Christmas, bin 1 of 3. Christmas, bin 2 of 3. Christmas, bin 3 of 3. Now for Halloween and fall, I use a lot of that decor at the same time. So we have Halloween and fall, bin of 1 of 2, and Halloween, fall, bin 2 of 2. Same goes for Easter. Easter, bin 1 of 2, and I have a note on there that the eggs are in a storage bag separate from the bins because they don't fit inside of the bins. So I have 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 for my Easter bins. So do make sure that you label how many bins you have for each holiday. Otherwise, you risk running around the house wondering if you've lost an item or completely forgetting half of your decor for that season. Now do combine your bins for holidays where you have less decor. So for example, right here, you'll see I have Valentine's Day / St. Patrick's Day, bin 1 of 2. That helps me to condense things, but still stay organized. Now I will warn you, make sure you do keep things separate inside of those bins. So don't combine the holiday items. You can simply use a cardboard box. Here you see I have my St. Patrick's Day decorations, and this cardboard box here is full of the Valentine's decorations. Everything is still organized, but it's condensed in one bin. It helps me to find things much easier. Something else that I would say is important to do is don't stress about making sure that your bins look Pinterest pretty. These bins here do not look pretty. They've seen a lot of years. They've gotten a lot of use, whether it was storing children's clothes for them to grow into, holiday things, garage bins. The nice thing about bins is they last a long time as long as you take care of them. So they're not going to look beautiful by the end of it, but nobody's going to see the bins. People see the decorations that are within the bins, not the actual bins. So don't worry if your storage space doesn't look beautiful because you have little scrap papers with labeled holidays on them instead of nicely printed notes. You have to do what works best for you in your space. Maybe it is something like a label maker. Maybe that's what you need to help you feel organized. But really, I do this because nobody's going to see these bins except for me, and this is a way that helps me reach that goal of making sure I can find the things and keep them organized. I keep the goal in mind. The goal is not to make them pretty for me. The goal is to help me quickly find the things I need and keep them organized when they're not in season. So here's just a few of my organization tips for holiday storage.